Hi, I'm Scott Cody, founder of the Institute for Embodied Wisdom. Thanks for tuning in to these conversations with Art of Leadership Mastery graduates. Please enjoy. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
I'm doing fabulously well today. It wasn't so much earlier in the week, but I am now.
You shook off that jet lag, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to. I'm actually doing a no caffeine, no sugar, no alcohol, kind of 21 days. So I'm over the hump now. I'm starting to feel fantastic and feel the benefits of it.
Well, you look amazing.
Thank you.
So I want to check in and see what's happening with you. What are you up to? What are you excited about? You're always doing such fabulous work in the world.
Yeah. Well, obviously my main company, Mind Movies, is doing fantastically well. We're an online company, and we teach personal development. But the mechanics of the business is really the online portion of it. And in an environment at the moment where it's difficult for people to get deliverability with their email, when we're trying to reach people online, en masse, and things like Facebook's ads and there's so many different components to actually being successful and getting people out of the billions of websites out there to find us. There's so much that goes into it. But we're kicking some big goals at the moment, and we always seem to be like ahead of the curve, which is great. But we have a big team. We have a team a team of 12 in San Diego, a team of 6 in Lithuania, which are our programmers, and then a team of 10 in the Philippines, which are our video editors and customer support, and they're all managed from the San Diego team. But we're doing really great with that, which is awesome.
Can you say how many people you're serving with Mind Movies? It's millions, isn't it?
Yes. Well, we have reached over 2.5 million people so far.
Wow.
And we currently have 1.4 million people in our database. And for us to be able to get our deliverability and do what we do, we have to scrub that list consistently. So that's a real 1.4 million people. And they're scattered all over the world. So it's awesome to have a platform like this where we can reach so many people of different cultures and different nationalities and different religions. And, I think we've got everyone covered in our database, but with a message to help them really take control of their future and really feel like they can influence the outcomes and think differently and, change a perspective on their life. So they can live in a more empowered way. So, I still pinch myself every day that this is what I get to do. This is my life.
And remind me, what is the main point or purpose of Mind Movies? What's the offer essentially?
Yeah, so a Mind Movie is the movie version of a vision board. Mm-hmm. So it's like the 21st century version of a vision board. So it's affirmations and photos and music combined. And in its essence, it's a visualization tool. Mm-hmm. So when we're visualizing ourselves in this future we want to create, so whether that's to our health or wealth or relationship or whatever that is, not only do we need to be able to see it in our mind, but we need to be able to feel the emotions of already being there. And so when you're watching this movie that's animated and it's coming to life and it's with all these words that are articulating what this future is going to be like, with the secret sauce, which is the music, that really helps to elevate your emotion, and you're attaching that elevated emotion to your visualization, you've got a very powerful tool to be able to, help visualize and help manifest what it is that you want, which is an integral part of the law of attraction, which is the basis of our message.
Sounds like it helps your clients to embody their vision.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when we teach the type of visualization that we do, it is all about full immersion. Mm-hmm. So, or dimensionalizing their visualization. So it's not like they're just closing their eyes and seeing a movie of them in the movie outside of themselves. Mm-hmm. They're actually, feeling, all senses are coming into play. They're able to feel, taste, smell, and be actually immersed in that moment. And to do it on a more regular basis and through repetition, we're reprogramming the subconscious mind into thinking that this is actually our reality, because it really doesn't know the difference between what we see through our eyes and what's playing out in our subconscious. Sure. So, and by also doing this, we're overcoming a lot of, old thought paradigms, old, limiting beliefs and thought processes that we had that were probably sabotaging or thwarting us in the past. We're now able to override that with thoughts that are in alignment with this future that we want to create.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's just one of several things. Well, I know that you're doing mind movies for, real paying clients out in the world, but you also have a big philanthropy part where you're making it available to other people in the world. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So I actually have created a children's version of our My Movie software. So our main product is the software that people can create these movies for themselves, and we help them get clear on that. So I created a children's version of the software, and then I had absolutely no idea what to do with it. I'm like, how do I market to parents? Like, market to kids? I don't know. And so, of course, I set a pretty strong intention that I wanted to be able to get this out. And of course, it showed up in the most randomness of ways. I had a friend who, actually a guy that we had a contract with for some of our other My Movies versions. He was living in Medellin in Colombia at the time. His girlfriend had all these government contacts. Anyway, he was at a party, met the dean of a university down there, the biggest university in Medellin, told him about My Movies for Kids. He's like, we need this in our schools. So next, I'm on a phone call with Mario and my friend and his interpreter. And so we, as a company, committed to donating 10,000 accounts to work with underprivileged children in Colombia. Yeah. And then also in that same phone call, Mario asked if I could create a curriculum so the teachers could teach in the classroom. And I'm like, yes. I go, what do you need? Here's like, kids are between 6 and 12. We need 12 lessons. We want homework so they can introduce their parents and their families to these concepts. And we want you to address bullying and early school dropout. And if you could get it to us by October, which is like 2.5 weeks away, then we'd be able to get the translation done ready for the teachers to start teaching. And I'm like, no problem. I hang up the phone and go, I have no idea how to do that. Like, I'm not qualified. I left school when I was 15. Right. I don't have children. Yeah. But, I apply what I teach. Yeah. And I sat down in the visualization. And for the first week when I was doing that visualization, I could not do that visualization and not cry, because I was seeing like the change it was making with the kids and with the teachers and the parents, and it was amazing. And so I ended up reaching out to my copywriter and said, like, these are the lessons I need to do. I need you to flesh it out with words so it's so it's easier for me to tweak your words. He said, well, I have a secret weapon. I go, no, what's that? He said, my wife is a teacher and she specializes in early age curriculum. Oh, wow. I'm like, of course she does. So now that program, or that curriculum, is just about to start being taught in Australia. And the cool thing about that is that the first school in Australia that will be piloting this program is my primary school in my hometown that me and all my brothers and sisters went to. Wow. Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah. And then another series of events of how we got set up there. So, but it's also being taught at Colombia, Dubai, and I'm working with a team in Detroit as well. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's one of the, I don't know if you ever had this intention, but you mentioned it here, but, different things get taught to the kids, but then the kids teach the parents in a lot of cases. It's like in the United States, at least with the recycling program, it really caught on with the kids, and the kids, kind of forced their parents into it, or stopping smoking or those kind of things. So, you never know what this focus on children can actually do for the whole world, with their parents. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're also in talks with a group in New Zealand as well. Mm-hmm. So, we're talking about, and not just, middle-class children, but underprivileged children, or, children that have come from really challenging backgrounds. And that's how the curriculum was designed, to make sure that, like we're talking about underprivileged children in Colombia that don't really have a lot. So it was that was how we implemented it, and it created it in the first place. So I think we're starting to really reach the children that and the families that could really benefit from this kind of information.
That's awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
It's got to be fun too, huh?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because with this project, I had to, like in the beginning, I was going through a lot of, I'm not worthy. Like, this is too much of a responsibility, and I'm not worthy for this. I'm not qualified. What am I thinking? Like, who do I think I am? But I realized that, when I look at this project, I bring a certain skill set, and I bring certain resources to this project. But I can't do this on my own.
Right.
Which is why I've teamed up with a team of teachers in Detroit, and I have, people, that are on the ground, that have the connections, that have the qualifications, that have the ability to do that. Like the team that I'm working with in Detroit, Terry Brinston is the main teacher there. She's a student in my Ultimate Success Masterclass program. And she's not only did she help us get into the schooling system there, but she's created the pre and post assessments, and she's helping train other teachers around the world as well. Right. So and so I've realized that I play a role in this project, and I'm going to stick to that because I'm really good at that. And then look for support and help at all the other the implementation and the other things that I need to be able to make it happen.
Good plan. I agree with you. It's one thing to have a commitment. It's another thing to know how to do it. But if you know how to build a team, then almost anything is possible. And that's, I think, part of your secret.
Yeah. Yeah, I have been, my first job as a manager, I was actually the manager of a fitness center. Mm-hmm. I was 21 years old. Mm. And I talked my way into that job, and I had no idea what I was doing. Which is kind of my motto. My motto to life is just bite off more than you can chew, and then just chew like hell. So it served me well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't back away from a challenge, that's for sure.
Anything else you have going on you want us to know about?
Yeah, so I also have a new TV show that we should be starting to film next month. It's called The Chat.
The Chat.
With Nat.
The Chat with Nat.
And it's The Chat with Nat. And it's a very interactive show. And, it's a very solution-oriented show. It's for women predominantly. Yep. And we're tackling things like, aging and health and dating and marriage and, a whole bunch of, sex, the whole thing, everything that's related to women, especially of middle age. Mm-hmm. So not only do we have people live that will be, going through and helping them with their challenges. We'll have experts that come on. We'll be out of the studio as well doing, I think I'm going to be the guinea pig doing a lot of trying out different modalities and different cool things. But the whole purpose of the show is to show that, it'll be a global show. So what we're doing is actually rewriting the way that a show like this is created and distributed. Right. So, which is really exciting. It'll be a global audience. And so even some of the people that we have that will be coaching on the show, we might have someone from the UK and then someone from, Greece or someone from, so we want to make sure that, we want to really connect women. I think a lot of us, we suffer in silence because there's things that we go through that we don't feel like we can share. And when we can sort of eliminate the shame around that and go, look, we all feel it. We're all going through the same thing. And here is the solution. And the solutions that we present on the show are going to be very easily duplicatable by the viewers. We also have an app that's attached to it where we create a lot of engagement. We're creating community, being able to give the resources to women that they need to be able to face any of the challenges that they have. So it's going to be a very meaningful show, and it's going to be definitely out of the box. And I think with my Australian look at things that it could be very funny as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Can't wait. Is it going to be on any particular channel, or is it going to be Netflix or YouTube or what?
Yeah, so initially we have sponsors coming on board. So we're going to be launching through Facebook Live, which is how we're going to build our audience very quickly. Right. Between, the audience that we already have through the My Movies community and then other friends of mine that have that would be sharing the show. So we have specific strategies that we're using there. Plus, Facebook is also going to be launching very soon what they call Facebook TV, which will be like their Netflix. So we're going to be pitching to them because they're buying all the original content now. So yeah, it's so the design of the show, there'll be 30 minutes of the pre-recorded show, and then I'll actually come on live at the end so I can be answering questions, and really it truly is an interactive show.
That's a great idea.
People.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So let me ask you, you went through the ALM program, which is 6 months long of embodied training. That's a pretty big commitment. Now that you've completed that a while ago, what would you say that has done? How has that helped in all of this that you're doing? What are people noticing?
Well, I mean, it's helped in like so many ways I can't even, account it. If I look at the My Movies business, I had no idea. My husband and I separated about 3.5 years ago. We're still business partners. We're still friends. It's all cool. But I moved to LA, and our team is still in San Diego, and I didn't understand what an impact that would have on the team. And even though most of the team from back then it has been replaced, we've got a new team now. It's really interesting how they still really are looking for my leadership in ways that I didn't kind of realize I had that much of an impact. And so for me, it's not just because I do go down to San Diego every couple of weeks and spend time talking to the staff there, but being able to manage the team and have an influence on the team from another location has been a challenge.
Yeah.
So even though we have the technology put in place, I'm still able to lead from an embodied place through this technology, and so yeah, which has been interesting. I've managed teams for a long time, but this is the first time I've had to do it with this kind of a challenge, and so I've been able to build a relationship with the team where they can feel like they can come to me with any challenge that they have. When I am down there, we always have a big lunch, and we can, they can share different things with me, which is really cool. But the biggest thing is that I'm in charge of any challenges or any HR kind of situations that come up within the team. And through what I learned through ALM, I'm able to open up a conversation in an empowered way that makes my employee feel like they're being heard, and that we're able to have a conversation where, if they need to change their behavior or something needs to happen within the team, they kind of come up with the solution themselves. Right. But I'm able to create the space for them to do that. But I do that from a centered and embodied state. Like I'll get centered before I go into that conversation, so which is what I learned through ALM. And the same thing is with the children's projects. I'm dealing with teachers and educators from all over the world. So to be able to create an environment where we're going to be connecting all of the educators together. And of course, there's always different challenges that come up with, the education system in Australia is different to the US and, and all these kind of things. But to be able to keep the team motivated, especially here in the US, there's been a bit of a change of leadership and change of Secretary of Education. We don't know whether it's good or bad yet, but we're still waiting to see. But in the light of where, people can feel unmotivated, through what I've learned through ALM, be able to stand in, be able to open up a conversation, get people into a more empowered state so that we can move forward. And, and also, the biggest thing that I really learned was how to make a request, how to properly make a request, what it is that I want, and when do I need it by, and ask for their, agreement. Can you supply this by this date? Do you agree to this? And that has changed the efficiency of our whole entire team at My Movies, not just, my interaction with the team as well.
Wow, fantastic. And do you notice anything about your ability to, you've always probably been somebody doing a lot of things and busy, but do you notice that maybe you're as busy as you were or even more busy than you were, but it's not somehow costing you as much, or you're not as tired, or you're not as stressed?
Yeah. I think like last year, I definitely felt like I had too many plates in the air. There was too many projects going on because I'm writing a book as well, and there was just too much, and everything was disjointed. But of course, this year I took stock, so I'm sitting down and again from a centered place, and sitting in from a place of center, going, okay, well, how do I do this better? How do I do this smarter? Yeah. And so from that place, I was able to go, okay, well, if I'm doing these different projects, it's fine, but they have to be in alignment. So the message is the same across all of them.
Right.
And so which takes a whole lot of pressure off, because I'm not trying to be like a kids educator here and then a mid-women's life thing here and then writing a book on divorce and then doing, so I'm not doing all of that.
Yeah.
I've been able to consolidate everything. But I take time every day. And, one of the little tricks that I did pick up from ALM was to take a break every 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll do that. Like I'll do, attention training. I'll do, I'll do a little meditation. I'll just take Bella out for a walk on the esplanade. I'll do something just to have that little bit of a break.
Yeah.
Even if it's for 5 minutes, just so I can refresh myself and then, be able to move forward. And the thing is, when you're doing that, it's so much sharper and so much more in control and so much more conscious of what's really going on, rather than just going full speed and just like hanging on for dear life, hoping that that you're absorbing everything that you're working on.
Good job. And have you noticed that other people are noticing shifts about you? Are you getting any feedback from other people about how you're showing up?
Definitely with Glenn, yes. So Glenn is my ex-husband, and and of course, that's an interesting situation in itself. We were together, we're married for 18 years.
Yeah.
And now we've transitioned into a different relationship, but we're still business partners. And so we had to really navigate what our new relationship was, and especially with our business. Like, we bought our business partner out last year. Yeah. So now Glenn and I are equal partners in the company. So, and of course, that brings with different responsibilities.
Sure.
and trying to navigate that with Glenn. And of course, we've got this like 18-year history. But, even he has said to me, he said it's so much easier to have a conversation with you now, because, before I was always very reactive, but now it's like, no, it doesn't have to be reactive, and I probably wouldn't be reactive with anyone else. It's just with Glenn.
That right there, though, can change the whole relationship, the whole future.
And the whole company.
Yeah, okay. And then, therefore, the whole world.
Yeah, exactly.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's really makes me happy.
Yeah.
To hear that. Well, thank you. Well,
thank you.
My pleasure. Well, thanks for taking a little time to check in. I appreciate it. Nice to see you and hear what's happening. I look forward to more conversations with you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome.
My
Bye,
pleasure.
Natalie. Take care.
Ciao.